Hey, the Village of Saybrook respectfully acknowledges that we're here on the land gathered on is the unceded territory of the Comox First Nation, traditional keepers of this land. We will call the meeting to order. Public question period. Purpose of public question period is for the gallery to provide feedback, should be no longer than 15 minutes unless approved by the majority of council vote. Each speaker may provide a respectful comment on any topic they deem appropriate, not necessarily any topics on the agenda. Each speaker may not speak longer than 2 minutes, but may have a second opportunity if time permits. Each speaker may not be allowed to speak regarding a bylaw in respect to a public hearing has been held. So for the record, please state your name and address.
Hi, Lee Ettinger, 220 Sayward Heights. This is actually a question more than a comment, but I'm still struggling with a line item that was in the budget prepared and delivered last meeting. And I need some help from somebody in determining, there's a line item under general revenue, it says general investment income. And I'm trying to figure out, is this interest, dividend, bond yield income, or are we drawing down on the underlying securities? And if so, what is the value of the underlying security?
CAO. Oh, your microphone, please.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Through Mayor Baker to the speaker. I believe it is actually interest income, but that is something that I will actually be looking into a little further as well. But thank you for the question.
Okay, because typically municipalities have short bonds, money market instruments. Typically municipalities have short bonds, money market instruments, maybe money market mutual funds and stuff like that. They wouldn't typically yield $50,485 unless the underlying principal securities were huge. So yeah, that's why I'm having trouble figuring it out. So I look forward to
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Introduction of late items. None. Approval of agenda, that the agenda for the regular council meeting held for February 24th, 2026 be approved as presented. CEO.
Yes, Mayor Baker, I think you wanted to move the mayor's report up.
Oh, that's correct. I want to move the mayor's report up to prior to minutes of previous meetings. And so that would be an introduction of late item. So can I have a motion to bring that forward, please?
Sure, I'll move that.
Second?
I'll second that.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? 2 opposed, the motion is carried. And now the approval of agenda, that the agenda for the regular council meeting for February 24th, 2026 be approved as amended.
So move.
Second?
I'll second that.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? 2 opposed, the motion is carried. On Sunday, there was a newscast on Check News. So I have some questions. So Councillor Burchett, did you seek authorization from the Village Council to speak to Check News before you made statements to Check News on Thursday, February 19th, 2026?
With all due respect, Mayor Baker, I'm not going to comment on this kangaroo court action.
Okay. Councillor Bichette, did you inform Czech News reporter Kendall Hansen or anyone at Czech News for the purpose of sought financial audit by the Minister of Housing and the Minister of Municipal Affairs to uncover that there's been fraud, embezzlement, or any other financial misconduct for the potential of legal?
With all due respect, Mayor Baker, please refer to the answer for question 1.
And did you refer the code of conduct before you spoke to anyone, especially sections 26, 14, number 3-1, number 8-5 of the Appendix A, section 13B of 5, and the current code of conduct? Did you review it?
Again, with all due respect, I will not participate in your kangaroo court actions.
Not kangaroo court, now you're in violation of the code of conduct. With your interview, if you like, I can give you a copy of the code of conduct.
Are you done?
No. Well, to accept the mayor's review.
Sorry, to accept the late item? Yep.
Yep. See? We already did that. Yeah, we don't have to do that again. Okay,
Moved by.
that was moved by Jason Johnson. Do we have to go through the whole voting thing again? Yeah. Okay, discussion? All in favor? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
What is the motion? The motion was that it was going to be a late item. And there was a mover and a seconder
Just accept it.
Just to receive.
to receive it.
All in favor of receipt? Opposed? 2 opposed, the motion is carried. Minutes of previous, that the minutes of the regular council meeting held on January 27th, 2026 be approved as presented.
I'll move that.
Second,
Second.
discussion? All in favor? Yes. Councillor Bichette?
Yeah, I just want to make a point that the council minutes aren't being done in a fair or an appropriate manner. It seems to be just a case of continuous gaslighting. So I don't accept any of the minutes as written because they're written in a certain narrative that favors the majority of council. And with regards to code of conduct, leaving a bunch of stuff out of the minutes and using the majority of council to vote the minutes in a certain narrative is very disrespectful to the constituents of Sayward.
Any further comments? All in favor of A? Opposed? Opposed, the motion is carried. B, that the regular minutes from the regular council meeting held on February 10th, 2026 be approved as presented.
As presented, I'll move that.
Second,
I'll second that.
discussion? Councillor Bichette?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Are we to not include in the minutes when people get removed from council meetings? Because anytime I've been removed from a council meeting, it's in the minutes. But when a sitting member of council's own family member gets removed from meetings for the third time for yelling and obscenities and talking about my personal life and the personal life of my partner and talking about in-camera things, it never gets mentioned in the minutes. So I just want to bring that to attention to the council and to the constituents of Sayward.
Any further discussion?
Yeah, the individual at the back of the room is creating a conflict again. And if you could just ask her to please settle down or to remove herself if she can't contain her behavior.
On B, Counselor Coates.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. From what I see, the individual is just sitting there at the back, not saying a word. She wasn't asked to leave the last meeting. She left it on her own accord. Thank you. And as far as any confidential information, I disagree with that.
Thank you. All in favor of B? Opposed? 2 opposed, the motion's carried. C, that the minutes of the committee of the whole meeting held on February 17th, 2026. Okay, let's get back on track here. Okay. The gallery needs to be quiet during the session, please. You get one warning. So on C, go ahead, Councillor Coates.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think it's very unfair that certain individuals are being accused of certain things as people at this table are making faces to the audience as well. Thank you.
Thank you. On C, all in favor? I've got CAO.
I'll move that.
Oh, there we go. Second,
Second.
discussion. All in favor? Oh, go ahead, Councillor Bichette.
Thank you. In my recollection of the committee of the whole meeting, people definitely were being asked to remove. Did you not ask people to be removed from the meeting, Mayor Baker?
On February 17th?
Correct. Or any of the other meetings?
No.
Here? Really? Okay. Thank you for clarifying that.
I don't believe so. Not to my recollection. Okay, so on C, all in favor? Opposed? 2 opposed, the motion is carried. Petition delegations, none. Correspondence, none. Council reports, none. Reports of the committees, pardon me. Mayor's reports was already done. Unfinished business, done. Staff reports. 2026 local government elections. Recommended resolution that Andrew Young, CAO, be appointed as Chief Election Officer for the 2026 local government elections with the power to appoint another election officers as required for the administration and conduct of the 2026 local government election pursuant to the Section 58 of the Local Government Act, and that Jennifer Redshaw, Office Administrator, be appointed as Deputy Chief Election Officer for the 2026 local government election.
I'll move 12A, both 1 and 2.
Thank you. Second,
I'll second that.
discussion. Councillor Bichette.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Shouldn't these be individual items that we vote on? And further to that, is sitting councillor member Johnson not in a conflict with his wife partner being appointed deputy election chair or chief election officer? Should he not be voting on that? And again, these should be individually voted on items.
I know as you read the end of number 1, it says and. So that includes number 2.
So then is there not a conflict of interest? If my spouse was involved, I would recuse myself.
Okay, may you have that opportunity. Go ahead, Councillor Johnson.
This is not a conflict of interest, and I believe the sitting council should be very careful with accusations. Thank you.
Hey, all in favor?
It's not an accusation, it's just a statement.
All in favor? Opposed? Opposed, motion is carried. Emergency Services, Public Works, Recreation Department, none. Bylaws, none. New business. Public question period. For the purpose of public question periods, enable citizens. Oh, go ahead.
skip over 12B.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did. Official, the Saybird Official Community Plan. Potential project. Number one is the Saybird Official Community Plan Report. And number two is proposal from 124 West regarding the OCP update. Go ahead, CAO.
Thank you, Mayor Baker. Now, you'll notice in the agenda package related to this item, there is actually not a recommended resolution spelled out. This is purposeful because there are a couple of options which I'll touch on in just a moment. So this is a short report and it's rather dense. So I'm going to read this for the benefit of the gallery. So the purpose of this report is to present a proposal to undertake an official community plan update for the village of Saybird. Now, in British Columbia, it is best practice for municipalities to review their official community plans every 5 years and update them as necessary, and undertake comprehensive reviews of their OCPs every 10 years, which normally involves significant public engagement. Now, several years ago, the village of Saybird entered into a contract with a major consulting firm to develop a new OCP for the village. Unfortunately, the new draft OCP development work was not completed properly by the consultant, and the village in the end did not result or achieve a new OCP. As a result, the village of Saybird's OCP bylaw is now 26 years old. There's only been a few small amendments to it. There is, of course, one pending amendment to bring us into compliance with Bill 44. While the village's OCP is being amended from time to time, since it was adopted in December 2000, it is long overdue for a comprehensive review of the OCP and replacement with an up-to-date document. Now, as noted, the village's previous contract to provide the community with a new OCP did not end well. Fortunately, there are other consulting firms to choose from who do this work, including, for example, a small firm called 124 West. Now, in recent weeks, the village's CAO met with the lead planner of that firm, Pam Shaw, who's a partner and senior planner with 124 West, to discuss the work that her firm has undertaken for other small communities on Vancouver Island, and to gain a better understanding of the service that this firm could provide the village. Dr. Shaw is a director of the Masters of Community Planning program at Vancouver Island University, where she worked as a professor for many years. Now, her professional practice focuses on development projects with First Nation governments, on Vancouver Island, as well as asset management, community planning, public engagement, and creating better places and spaces that support biodiversity and conservation, as well as on the unique challenges facing small communities in the face of economic, social, and environmental change. Now, there is an attachment to this report, and as noted in the latter pages of the proposal, the cost to engage this firm to develop and deliver a new OCP for Saybird is approximately $81,000 for professional services. The proposal also describes potential additional costs of approximately $12,000 to support community outreach and mailouts to support the proposed project. Now, altogether, the estimated cost to develop and deliver the village with a new OCP, as described, would be about $93,000. Now, potential funding to support this work, if approved by council, exists in the unspent Local Government Housing Initiatives grant, which the village received from the province in late 2023 or early 2024. Now, at this time, present day, there's roughly $110,000 in funds remaining in that grant, which the village could use to support this project, subject to reconfirmation by staff with the Ministry of Housing and Municipal Affairs that the village can still draw on those funds for this type of work. Now, some comments about capacity and timing. Normally, a local government does not take on a major project that involves significant public consultation work, such as a comprehensive update or replacement of its OCP in the same year that general elections are being held. Now, as noted in the attachment, there are two timelines described in the proposal from 124 West. The first timeline is very ambitious, with a timeline for completion and adoption of a new OCP before the end of September and local elections in October. The second timeline is longer and shows completion and adoption of a new OCP in late February 2027. So that would overlap with local government elections somewhat. It should be pointed out that village staff have little to no capacity to oversee an additional major project such as this in 2026. Now, there are a couple of options. The following list of options is not intended to be exhaustive or detailed, but it is provided principally to help support council's discussion of these matters. So Village of Sayward enters into a contract with 124 West to develop and deliver a new OCP for the village based on one of the proposed timelines or a modified one. This option would be subject, of course, to thoroughly vetting the work done by 124 West elsewhere, including reference checks. And once that is done, a recommendation could be provided to council for consideration, including justification for a direct award if that were merited. The second option is the Village of Sayward defers contracting with 124 West or any other firm to develop and deliver a new OCP for the village until after the general elections in October 2026. And in doing so, the village can then seek competitive bids from other firms to help ensure the village receives the best value possible for the monies invested in this work. Now, I'm sure that members of council, having read the report and thought about it, may have also some other options in mind. As noted earlier in the report, the Village of Sayward's OCP is long overdue for a comprehensive review and replacement with an up-to-date document. Sayward Council has an opportunity to engage a firm to develop and deliver a new OCP for Sayward in 2026 if desired, or 2027 if preferred. And alternatively, council could defer this important work until after the local government elections in October 2026. So I'll turn this over now back to you, Mayor Baker.
Councillor Burchett.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through the mayor to the CAO, can you please clarify whether or not the contract was paid with the consulting company if they didn't complete or finish the work?
The contractor involved or the consultant involved was paid for work that they did do. There would have been an outstanding balance of work that was not done, and they would not have been paid for.
Thank you. Councillor Johnson.
Further to that question, CAO Young, how come there wasn't a report brought before council saying that we had issues with this? Because this is the first time it's brought to my attention that we didn't have a contract completed and that we had issues, because we had all decided as the majority of council to go with a certain vendor, and we're expecting the work to be completed, and it was at a much lower cost. And all of a sudden we go from, I believe, was it $30,000 was that the contract, to now 80,000 plus 12. And we already have the transportation report done and the housing report done by McElhaney. So I'm curious as to why a steep increase when a majority of the work was already done. Thank you.
Well, it's an interesting question you've asked, Councillor Burchett, because that work would have been probably 5 years ago.
Councillor Johnson.
Thank you. Yeah, as I recall, the contractor prior was paid in and around $80,000 too. So same price, but only about that timeline ago. As I dug into this particular group, I understand that this is the same organization that did the award-winning CCP for Comox First Nation. I'm hoping you can confirm that, because that, of course, is quite an accomplishment, but also in line with it being our referring nation as well. Also, I'd just like to understand if there's a timeline for this grant. Is there any challenges in getting work done based on timeline so this grant doesn't have to get returned or reporting issues?
Through the mayor to Councillor Johnson, thank you for the question. This is the point related to the clarification that I need to get from the ministry. The monies, the local government housing initiatives grant monies were, according to the initial terms of the grant, supposed to be used by or before the end of 2025. However, in recent discussions that I have had with ministry officials, they certainly know, as an example, the work that is being done by McElhaney right now, and they are comfortable with the drawing down on these monies in order to address that work. My hope is that when this is explained to the ministry, that we have a 26-year-old OCP and we have a need to replace that document, and they have already awarded these monies to the village of Saybrook, that they will understand that this is an opportunity then to get this work done at no additional cost to the ministry. So we will be seeking clarification from the ministry.
Councillor Johnson, then Councillor Burchett.
In that case, then, considering that we don't have an answer from the ministry, considering the fact that an OCP is a foundational document in order for other work to be based off of. So really, all of your planning, bylaws, growth plans, all hinge on a comprehensive OCP. In that case, I want to move that we proceed with option one, being entering a concept with 124 West, with the timeline that's a titch more aggressive if it is indeed going to be comprehensive. I trust that it is, given the fact that the example of the work that they've already done. So the motion is to proceed with option one, aggressive timeline.
Please.
Are we not still on discussion? Or I just heard,
We're still on discussion, sure.
Okay,
Put a motion in.
so do you make a motion during discussion or
You can make a motion. Yep.
why can't,
Sorry, go ahead.
well, there's other counselors that may have information to add and questions, so I'm just wondering why we would vote on a motion in mid-discussion.
Well, there's more discussion on every motion. There's discussion as well.
But if the motion gets passed, then
You discuss it before the motion gets passed. Councillor Coates? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead, Councillor Burchett. Sorry, Councillor Coates.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through the mayor to the CAO, back to my question that was never answered. I do want to clarify with you that I was on council when we did vote for the last contract. So I don't know where you got this previous 5 years ago that we voted to finish the contract, to finish the OCP. So back to my question is, how come there was not a report brought before council of that failed contract? And it would be nice if we know exactly how much money was spent or saved with the incompletion of that said contract. Thank you.
The CAO wasn't here during that time. The CAO has been with us for 5 months now. So it's not his fault or anything in that matter.
Well, due respect, Mr. Mayor, I'm not blaming anyone. I'm just trying to ask for information so I can make a better decision for the constituents of Sayward and understand where the money is or is not going in the best interest of our constituents.
Okay. Councillor Coates?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think before we proceed that we should actually find out for sure if we even have grant money that we can use for this project. I like the idea that they've worked with First Nations, but when I did some research, I couldn't find very much on 124 West. And with the report that we received from the CAO, with the elections coming up, and being understaffed to take on such a big project, I personally feel that we should wait until the next council gets elected and let them carry on with it. But the most important thing is there any confirmation that there's any money left for the grant that we can do for the OCP to complete it?
Okay, Councillor Burchett.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I agree with Councillor Coates that we should probably defer this to the next council so we can actually get some information, allow CA Young to catch up with things that he might not be privy to in the 5 months that he's been here, and then present council with an accurate financial plan on what was spent and the work that was or was not done. So we have a clear idea of what we're going to spend potentially $90,000+ on, when we originally had less than $30,000 left to complete the official community plan.
My concern is if you check and find out that the grant can be used towards the OCP, there's going to be a time limit on that grant. We've already gone over the first time limit of 2025. We could end up losing that $100 and some odd thousand. That can't be spent anywhere else regardless. So if you can check and make sure that the grant is available to us, then I would be in favor of option 1 as well. CAO, then Burchett.
So thank you, Mayor Baker. Again, the purpose of the report is to determine what council's preference is. We can pursue this as outlined in the report further with the ministry. They know that we're already doing work to become compliant with Bill 44. And as I said earlier, the conversations that I've had with the ministry have been very supportive. I'm anticipating that they will be comfortable supporting using the remaining grant monies for the purpose that these grant monies were awarded in the first place. But I will be happy to research that further, have that conversation with the appropriate ministerial staff and bring that back to council with a proper recommendation, series of recommendations for you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councillor Burchett and then Councillor Coates.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. One thing that was a little concerning to me when I read the report is that we're only mentioning, discussing and bridging the gap with the Comox First Nations and including them in the OCP. Well, we have the Wiwakam, Wiwakai, Hamalko First Nations. So I think it'd be prudent to engage with all First Nations and not ostracize any of them. That way we are looking at a broader spectrum to serve our community instead of just dealing with one First Nations, which potentially could have greater issues than engaging with all of them.
Councillor Coates.
I was just wondering, like, did this go out to tender because we only have one proposal from one company and no other proposals? And then also with the First Nations, at the beginning here, we recognize Comox First Nations as the band on unceded territory. So those are my questions, I guess.
Go ahead, CAO.
Thank you. Through the mayor to Councillor Coates, I will, for example, draw council's attention to the grant award that the village received for the McMillan Drainage Project. Indian and Northern Affairs Canada has specifically noted that the village of Sayward consult with the Comox First Nation, no other First Nations, solely the Comox First Nation.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Paulson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would like to add some historical information to this decision. I believe it was in 2020 2020 when CAO McDonald started working here and was started working on the OCP. And she left within a year, and the contract had been awarded to Urban Systems. And I can't remember how much it was awarded for, but at the end of, close to the end of the project, and I'm not sure how much money we spent on, or the council spent on getting this OCP updated. There was up $7,500 left that Urban Systems was supposed to be doing to complete the work. And in the meantime, Councillor, or the then CAO, I believe you were CAO then, Councillor. We went to a First Nation, several days First Nation workshop. And at that time, Pam Shaw was there and was part of the presenters and talked extensively about the work that she had done with Comox First Nations and getting the Comox OCP updated successfully. And the conversation was entered into with CAO Johnson and wanted Pam Shaw to, or her company, OWL, whatever it's called, I don't know what it was called then, to complete or update, finish our OCP, and was not happy with what Urban Systems had done, but council went with having Urban Systems complete the OCP for $7,500 instead of engaging OWL with a $30,000 proposal. So that, and you can correct me if I'm wrong when I'm done, but I think it was right at the time where we had another change in CAOs, and the OCP never got addressed following the new CAO starting, because there were other things on the agenda that seemed to be more important, and the OCP was dropped. And we were told that the OCP in many communities, municipalities, were very outdated. And so I don't know how many of them continue to be as outdated as ours, but I know that there are some communities that are still have not completed a current OCP, and many of them are several years outdated. So it's very difficult when we get a budget that has been trying to be represented to the community, that we are in survival mode. And now we're looking at investing $90,000 plus in just scrapping all of the work that was done before, even if it is 5 or 6 years old, and having to have that redone again. So I was really concerned when I saw the report on this new company putting this bid in, and this document that they produced with all the numbers and budgets and timelines and everything didn't just get produced overnight. So I was not aware that there was, as a councillor, I was not aware that there was anything going on about behind the OCP. And I even asked at the last meeting about the OCP, and I believe I was told, you might have to check the tapes and see that if that was the case, then why are we considering allocating $90,000, even if it is with a grant and that it's, I think it's outrageous that we spent as much as we did on urban systems, and now we're looking at spending an equal amount with this company. As far as timelines go, I don't know how many contracts we've had that have gone over the time limit and had added costs to them. So I'm like Councillor Coates, I am surprised how this report is in our agenda package, and yet the community, what's it called? Charter, the community charter states that if there's any contracts put out for over, I believe it's over $15,000, that there should be at least 2 requests for proposal put out. So I'm very concerned about this.
Thank you, Councillor Johnson, then Councillor Coates.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to add just a couple of points on this because like Councillor Paulson indicated, I was CAO at the time. So 124 West is brand spanking new. Where Pam Shaw worked prior was VIU. And we had the benefit of using students to offset costs to get work done. So what I think we did engage VIU to complete works for the Village of Sayward prior that previous contractors did not do. And I won't go into details because the name of the contractor was mentioned, but work wasn't completed and timelines were incredibly short. So we had a housing needs assessment that was done by VIU, and one other one I can't think of at the moment also required. I think it was a housing needs assessment. It was, in fact. And so all of that work got done, so we were able to satisfy those timelines. This particular organization was developed in light of VIU no longer having a Master of Planning department. So eventually this organization will likely end up with UVic, which is fantastic, master's program again. What's nice is 2 things in my mind with this organization. One being that they use students for the master's program to complete work that's all checked by someone that actually teaches people to become planners, master planners. So, you know, I think in terms of putting a proposal together, it was probably quite, my guess is it was probably quite easy to do considering the work they've already done for us. You know, obviously, I'm hearing from council that there is some reservations. My biggest reservation, bar none, is having to give money back on a grant. So I agree. We'll find out what that looks like. I will tell you that as time goes on, it's harder and harder to rescope a grant, and there's more risk. So that is my ultimate concern. If we're giving back $110,000 and not completing work, that would be very unfortunate. So I am happy to pull back my motion so that more information can be presented for our next meeting. But I would highly recommend to this council that we do not wait any longer than that without risking giving money back. Thank you.
Councillor Coates, then Councillor Burchett.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So if I can get this right, Urban Systems was hired to do an OCP in 2020. Did they have a deadline when they were supposed to complete this work? Does anybody know that?
They also submitted, very much what you're seeing, a timeline for scope.
And how much of that scope of work actually got done? 10%, 20%, 50%?
I won't be indicating that at this time, as we're in a public meeting talking about a specific contractor.
Okay, so can we discuss how much it costs the
discuss-
village of Sayward?
We can discuss that during our in-camera. We can move this to in-camera. But you can't talk about a company in an open public meeting.
Okay, so they were hired in 2020. So was work not completed in 2020? Was it completed in 21? Was it completed in 22, 23? Councillor Bichette, I don't think you lived in the community in 2020. Thank you.
Go ahead, Councillor Burchett.
We had an OCP consulting company come before council while I was on council to establish the plan, to finish the OCP, and they told us what was completed, not completed. That's what I was trying to ask the CAO earlier. So yes, I was aware of what was going on and what wasn't going on. And we thought that in the background, it was getting completed by the contractor. And through poor administration and lack of communication from administration to council, we were left in the dark. And here we are with a proposal, which is great. But I agree with yourself, Councillor Coates and Councillor Paulson, that we should at least have another vendor, and we should have answers to when the grant is going to run out, and vote on that when we have the proper information to make the best decisions. So yeah, I was privy to some of that information, and no, I didn't live here in 2020.
Okay, Councillor Paulson, final comment, then we're calling the question.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I know that the contract was supposed to be completed, and we did have a meeting with the main planner about what was left to do and how much money was left in their budget to get it done. And like I said, it was after that when a new CAO came on board, and we didn't get any more information on how the $7,500 was to be spent. We didn't get any reports after that. So it's very difficult to try and work on a proposal or working with grants. And if you recall, my question at the budget meeting was about asking for a spreadsheet with all of the grants that we have had for 3 years, maybe 4 years. And they have, at last year's budget, we got a spreadsheet with how much money was in each grant. And I think there was about 6 grants, and where that money had, how much of that money had been spent and what the balance was left over. And we didn't get that this year. That's why I asked, so that we could see. And even at the previous budget, when we got the spreadsheet, it was clearly outlined how much money was left, and it was supposed to be checked with the ministries, or the whoever the grantor was, to see whether we could use that money, because there are specific things that each grant can be spent on. And there were some things that were not allocated properly because they weren't included in that grant. So I hope that we do get that spreadsheet so that we know what we've got left and even how, with each grant, how much we are allowed to keep or whether it will be clawed back by the ministry that gave it to us. So there's been a very large lack of communication and information.
Councillor Bichette, real quick.
Were you done, Councillor Paulson? Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Motion to table 12B 1 and 2. The motion is to allow for staff to give us information on when the grant is due or the grant ends, to allow for a second vendor and a report on what was done or not done with the previous contract and the cost of that. Thank you.
Okay, do I have a second? Sorry, CAO. Oh, there is already a motion on the floor.
There you go. It's a motion related to tabling the matters related to 12B 1 and 2. I would suggest that you separate these matters. As for reporting on a grant or work that was initiated 5 years ago, which now has, by Councillor Polson's statement, perhaps $7,500 left, if that money hasn't already been returned to the ministry, it's probably a wasted exercise. I would recommend that the motion to table be dealt with as a motion to table, and if there's a separate motion related to anything else, then deal with that separately.
Very well. Councillor Johnson.
Sorry, can I, and again, this is subject to Councillor Bichette's approval because this is his motion, but would it not be wise to just receive the reported proposal and then direct staff to seek clarification on the existing grant? Because the report itself does go into detail about options, and then that'll come back to another meeting because there is no.
That would be much simpler.
Yeah.
Yes. The motion has been made. It has not been seconded.
Your microphone, please.
Sorry. So the motion has been made. It has not been seconded yet. But I think it would be, pursuant to what Councillor Johnson has just outlined, it would be simpler just to do as Councillor has recommended.
Councillor Bichette, do you have a problem with that?
I definitely want to understand what was or was not done by the previous vendor, because they came before council less than 2 years ago to discuss what was left, and it was a lot less money to be spent. So I want to know what happened with regards to that. I think that's important for part of this process. And I also feel it's important to have a second vendor. So I'm going to stand with my motion. If you want to split them up, we can receive the report. I'm okay with that, friendly, but the motion is to understand the terms of the grant, to have a second vendor, and a report on what was done or not done and the cost of that.
Okay. Do we have a second? Use your microphone, please.
I'll second that.
Discussion? All in favor? Discussion?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Councillor Bichette, could you just say that motion again, please? Are you asking it for it to be tabled, to be brought back with more information? Is that what you're asking?
Yes, correct. To table it, to understand the limitations of the grant, when that runs out, when we can or cannot use that money by. And to your point, requesting a second vendor for this, I agree with that. And also a report from staff understanding what was or was not done with the last vendor with regards to their work. I want to know what was spent, what work was done, because that came before council to be completed. So we need to know what happened there. You know, we've heard that it was failure by the vendor, but again, I mean, I want clarification on that because it's an important part of the process.
Okay. So call the question. All in favor? Opposed? One opposed, the motion is carried. Okay, emergency services, none. Bylaw, none. New business, none. Question period. The purpose of question period is enable citizens to ask the question of council on issues that are important to the citizen asking the question. Speakers are asked to limit their questions to one, and if time permits, everybody will have an opportunity to ask the second question. Citizens will be asked to state their name and address. Go ahead, Milena.
Melina Gradisar, 261 Ambleside. I noticed that you had an issue with that interview. I also did not ask for your permission. Was I supposed to?
You know, he's on council and there's a code of conduct. It's a different scenario.
So I didn't have to ask you,
Of course not.
and I won't have to ask you the next time.
Of course not.
Good, because I won't.
Good.
I have another question, but somebody was there before.
Okay. Go ahead.
Hi, Lee Ettinger, 220 Sayward Heights. I think that in the matter of this OCP, we may be putting the cart in front of the horse here. I agree with the council's decision to put this in abeyance for a period of time anyways, because I don't think there's a single person in this room who can actually say for certain whether there will actually even be a village to have an OCP for. And I think that probably the folks who are in charge of the local government housing initiatives really wouldn't be impressed if we spent 90-something thousand dollars for an OCP plan for a OCP or for a village that will possibly not exist. You know, I think there are lots of things available that we could do in terms of to use that $110,000 that we have to do something positive in terms of local housing initiatives. 110 grand isn't that much money, but I mean, in Campbell River, they've done that series of low-income housing. I mean, what could we do in this community that isn't just some academic pounding out $100,000 worth of blah blah? I'm just asking, just asking. And the other thing I would like to state is an incredible amount of annoyance with the fact that each of these council meetings is initiated with us acknowledging that we are on the unceded territory of whoever. Okay, this land is not unceded. It's been proven in courts that the treaties mean this is not unceded land. If they keep talking like this, why are we paying property taxes on land we don't own? That's all I'm asking. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Next.
The Homes, 108 611 McMillan Drive. I'd just like it noted for the record that I was not removed from the meeting on the 17th of February. It's on the video. The mayor did not ask me to leave the meeting. I left on my own accord. Thank you.
Thank you. Next. Go ahead, Milena.
If I can clear it with you, Mr. Mayor,
I'm sorry.
I'd like to clear this question just with you. At the last meeting, this is quite a little bit annoying today. At the last meeting, we heard that Councillor Burchett had 14 complaints, right? Right?
Correct.
And then I phoned you the next day and I said, is that correct? And you said, yes, it was. I asked you, is that complaints? No, I said, is that 14 lawsuits? or 14 complaints, and you said 14 complaints. It is my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, complaints come here to the council, right? They don't?
No.
Where do the complaints go?
They go to an investigator.
In this building?
Either legal, no, nobody in this building. Goes to an outside source.
There is a rumor out there, but I don't even know the truth, really, that one of the councillors here is responsible for 140,000 to 280,000.
I can't comment on that.
Well, I can, because I saw it. Is that correct information?
I can't comment on that.
Can anybody comment on that?
No.
Nobody? Can I comment then? If this information is incorrect, somebody's gonna have to correct it. I know this is probably to do with in camera. This is something that would be done in camera. I understand that. But we kind of seem to have two different kinds of information here, and I think that it needs to be straightened out. Is it true or is it not? All right. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. It's question period, Councillor Burchett. Thank you.
I'm quite well aware that it's a question period, but I just want to clarify that even discussing the amount of complaints is an in-camera matter that's been breached by Mayor Baker.
Okay, thank you. Okay, anybody else for question period? Go ahead.
Hi, Lee Ettinger again. As regards what Milena was just speaking to, are we allowed to know who on council has voted to keep the financial details of our legal costs in camera? Because they don't always have to be in camera if council votes to clarify that or to make that public. So
CAO, do you want to
like
clarify
to,
that?
I would like to know who it is that is trying to keep this information squashed.
Oh, the microphone, please. Thank you.
So to the mayor and in response to the question from a member of the gallery, not to be flippant about this response, but these are in-camera matters, and council members and staff are not permitted to discuss in-camera matters. Period. Full stop.
Thank you. Councillor Burchett.
So through the mayor to the CAO, does that include actually publicly talking about the amount of complaints that may or may not have been put in?
That is hard to say.
Moving to in-camera, recommended resolution that in accordance with section 92 of the community charter, this council meeting will be held closed to the public in order for council to give consideration to matter in accordance with the following sections of the community charter. 90-1C, labor relations and other employee relations. 90-1D, the security of property in the municipality. 90-1E, 90-1I, 90-1L, 90-1M. Do I have a motion, please?
I'll move to go on camera.
Thank you. Second,
I'll second that.
discussion. Councillor Burchett.
Yeah, it's a lot there listed for in camera. So it's a lot there that the public's still not being aware of. And I agree that the public should have lots of questions, should keep asking questions, and don't give up to try to find the right answers to your questions.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So in camera, all in favor? Opposed? Opposed? We're going in camera. Who's opposed? Okay, one opposed. The motion is carried. We will reconvene at 8:15.